Hello and welcome to another conversation about games, where we'll discuss games that we have been playing very recently. My name is Mark, and with me is...
Rob, hello.
Hello, Rob. How's it going?
I'm okay.
Just okay? Do you not wish you could go to a different life? Do you not wish you could break free of the city and go back to nature? Possibly even rummage around in some undergrowth, grow some carrots, woo the local lasses? Do you not wish for that kind of game?
Do I look like Ray Mears? Oh, what's his face? Bear Grylls, that's his name.
Extreme Survival.
No, he just has the most amazing name, Bear Grylls.
It is. It's one of those. It's one of those names for TV, really, isn't it?
No, it just sounds like something you buy from Iceland. And I don't mean the country, I mean the shop.
Yeah, I assume the shop. I suppose we've always got to explain to people who don't live in the UK that there is a shop called Iceland where you can buy various iced frozen products, including kangaroo testicles and crocodile steaks and all kinds of weird stuff.
The tears of a marsupial.
But to move away from these barren, cold supermarkets, we're going to go into Stardew Valley. This is a game that has been...
Now I get what you were talking about at the beginning. Now it all makes sense.
It all makes sense. It would have made sense to people. It's got the title on. We said Stardew Valley on the title. People know what we're on about. If you don't realise, Stardew Valley is a farming game, very much in the same vein as Harvest Moon or Story of Seasons. In fact, it is quite literally Harvest Moon or Story of Seasons. This is a title that was released about a year, possibly 2 years ago, originally on the PC, and has since came out on the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, and most recently, and this is the version I've been reviewing, playing, the Nintendo Switch.
Okay, I have to ask.
Yeah.
If it's basically Harvest Moon, then what's the point of making a game called Stardew Valley?
Well, I'm not going to lie. Harvest Moon for the past few years has not been particularly great. It hasn't been particularly bad. However, it's kind of lost what was so fun about the earlier titles, such as the ones on the Super Nintendo, the Game Boy, the N64, and the PlayStation, in that they were very basic. You could literally just pick one up and you could just hammer out a few days, growing some crops or doing whatever very quickly back then. Harvest Moon, over the years, they've kind of tried to push more of a story. They've kind of tried to come up with new ways to change things up with the formula while kind of losing what made it so charming. Stardew Valley is more of a homage to the earlier Harvest Moon titles. There is a small bit of backstory where your character wants to move away from being locked in an office doing the same kind of work every day. His grandfather passes away and leaves him a farm. You move to the farm and you meet the local neighbours, and that is essentially the story.
Okay, so it's proper Harvest Moon. It's not like Rune Factory where you are in a fantasy world and you become a farmer and you grow crops and stuff like that. It's
a more of a real world type thing. However, there is a lot of fantasy elements into it.
Okay.
You will be going into mines, mining for ore and fighting skeletons and slimes and your typical fantasy type creatures. There is all of that. But when it gets down to it, Stardew Valley is literally about running your farm, ploughing the fields, growing the crops, fishing in the lakes, shipping the crops, feeding, caring for animals, and then exploring the local village, trying to befriend the villagers to get new recipes or items, or possibly even trying to marry one of the 5 female or the 5 male characters in the game.
There it is. I knew it had to be in there. So, because I was thinking, hang on, this is sounding a lot like Farming Simulator, until you went to the part where you go to meet people in the village and...
Well, Farming Simulator, you get to drive a tractor. There's no tractors in Stardew Valley or Harvest Moon.
Never mind
a tractor. You've got to do it all via hand.
No, never mind a tractor. You know, in Farming Simulator, I can sit there and go, I got a brand new combine harvester, and you can't have the key.
And you can also take your tractor and go very, very slowly down the local motorway just to annoy the traffic, just like in real life.
Yes, but you'll be annoying the people behind you, so
yes,
it'll
definitely.
make it all the more sweeter.
But yes, going back to Stardew Valley, it's a very simple game, but it's one of those games that just has you coming back for more. And it is the perfect title for the Nintendo Switch. Obviously, the Nintendo Switch is a console/handheld hybrid, so you're no longer limited to having you sitting in front of your PlayStation 4 or your PC or your Xbox. You can lie in bed and you've got that one more day kind of feel where you just want to keep on ploughing. Quite literally.
You could have rephrased that.
Well, you can, like you said, you can go for one of the local girls or the local guys.
Stop there. Stop right now. You dirty, dirty boy.
You can hand them your carrots.
Exchange your plums for their melons, eh? No, we're not going there. We're not going there. This is a conversation about video games, not a carry-on movie. Right, okay. I just want to point out one thing, right? Rune Factory 4, I think it was, came out on the 3DS. So couldn't this also have come out for like the 3DS as well? Or is it
possibly? I'm not sure if there's something to do with coding and stuff like that. It's looking at it visually, it does look more like a Super Nintendo game. There is nothing. Now I'm going to rephrase this. I'm not going to say there's nothing special about the graphic style. It does look good. It does looks like a 32-bit title. But as we know from titles such as Final Fantasy VI, Super Metroid, a lot of the graphic styles are quite timeless.
Yeah, I was about to say, looking good isn't the same as the other thing you said.
How do you mean?
Basically, it can look good, right? It can basically be a 16-bit or 32-bit game, and it can look fantastic, right? Yeah. But it can still be quite generic in terms of its design.
Oh, yeah. I mean, nearly every single item in the game has been really well crafted. Obviously, it doesn't have any of those issues where you kind of like, you're trying to figure out what you're actually looking at. All of the characters have unique sprites. They've all got like different facial like reactions when you give them various items or talk to them at different points of the day. It's one of those games where it just looks nice for what it is. It's not anything particularly special. It's just if you fancied being a bit nostalgic and playing a Harvest Moon, this is kind of what you want.
But I mean, why play Stardew Valley instead of Harvest Moon then?
To be honest, there's not a huge amount difference. Personally, I've enjoyed it because it is on the Switch and I can actually just pick this up, take it wherever and lie around in bed and play on it. No different from Rune Factory 4 or Story of Seasons on the 3DS.
Yeah.
But like I said, Story of Seasons, I enjoyed it, but I kind of felt they were trying to push the 3D graphics a little bit more. I've never played Rune Factory 4, so I can't really comment on that. This is just so basic, it just works.
Yeah, because Rune Factory 4 had the farming elements and stuff like that, but it also had very strong JRPG elements in there as well. So you basically had to go around doing quests and exploring dungeons and stuff like that. And so that all tied in together, which is one of the reasons why, I'll be honest, I adore the Rune Factory franchise a lot more than I like Harvest Moon, because it's got everything that I like in there.
I kind of enjoyed both. I think it was Rune Factory 3, maybe 2 that I played on the DS, and I really enjoyed it. But this is kind of just more of the same. And this is one of the things, I mean, I've loved my time with Stardew Valley so far. It's only been out a week as of recording, and I have probably played it 3 to 4 hours every night. But this game is getting so much praise, but it is literally nothing particularly special compared to Harvest Moon. It's just more of a good thing.
Yeah, but maybe that's all you need.
Yeah. To be honest, it's not an expensive title. I think it was $10.99 on the Switch eShop or whatever they want to call it, which for a title like this is
Not
a
bad.
bargain, I would say.
It's not bad at all. And like I said, sometimes all you need is for the game to be simple, straightforward, and just good.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's one of those games you can pick up, you can play it for 15 minutes, you can play it for 4 hours, and you can enjoy it. There's a lot of charm in the characters, unlike Harvest Moon, where they kind of had a lot of the characters being very countrified, I want to say. A lot of them were quite cute girls or cute boys, and they weren't particularly, I wouldn't say interesting. Some of them were kind of interesting, but they weren't special or anything.
I'm just drawing attention to your use of the word countrified. Which country?
Well, I'm just kind of thinking like out in the sticks. Like,
are we talking like country music? So are they all singing about how their dog, their wife, and their truck left them?
I'm going to say people from Emmerdale Farm before Emmerdale Farm became Emmerdale.
Oh, right.
Farm
Okay, yeah. That makes a lot more sense now.
Obviously, in Harvest Moon, you had stuff like you had the tomboyish farmer girl, you had the cute maid doctor.
You had a lot of stereotypes in Harvest Moon.
Yeah. This one you get hipsters, hippies, old people. You get the Dragon Ball Z anime punk rock guy, you get the gamer girl. But yeah, it feels that this is very modern in the way they're portraying the characters, and it does make them feel a little bit more interesting than the Harvest Moon ones.
Okay.
The only issue I had was that I was trying to marry one of the moms in it before I realised that she wasn't marryable. I was standing outside, I was going to her house every single day, giving her the same flower that I'd found on the floor, and she was accepting it. Then I realised I couldn't marry her. You
were after the pixelated MILF.
Well, I don't know, they just looked older, and all of the girls looked a bit younger, so I was just like, yeah. So then I ended up just going for the blonde girl.
Look at you, putting your tastes out into the world. So, if you're a pixelated MILF, looking for love...
There's no Monster Museum option. I felt quite offended.
Oh, so is this a recommend from you then, Mark?
Yeah, I'd definitely recommend it if you've got a Switch. I think you might get a little bit more mileage if you've got a handheld version, but I know this is very popular on the PC and on the PlayStation as well, so I think if you want a Harvest Moon type game without picking up Harvest Moon, this is definitely one to pick up.
Cool.
Yeah, if you agree with me, if you don't agree, or if you've just got one of these interesting Stardew Valley Harvest Moon stories, because we all have one. We all do. Drop us a comment, subscribe, give us a like. We'll have plenty more gaming conversations coming your way. If you want to look up here, we've got another gaming conversation. Yes, it's quite interesting. Also here, we have an interview. One of the interviews we did at Eurogamer EGX this year. Thanks for listening.